Welcome to another deep dive. We are so glad you could join us today. So, I want you to imagine something for a second. You press the pedal on your brand new sports car, right? You're fully expecting to just fly down the highway, but instead, you're stuck, like violently jerking forward in first gear.
Right. Yeah. An engine is just roaring. The dashboard's all lit up. But
But you are barely moving. And we're looking at excerpts today detailing how that exact scenario is happening in businesses right now with artificial
it
intelligence.
really is. It's this massive productivity drain.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we are handing analysts the equivalent of these, supercomputers, and they are spending 2 hours manually copy pasting the output into an Excel spreadsheet.
Which is just, I mean, it's the absolute definition of a productivity paradox. You invest in all this massive computational power to accelerate your workflow, but instead you just create this brand new bottleneck.
Right. The friction hasn't disappeared.
No, it's just changed shape entirely.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because our mission today is to uncover why structured prompts actually save you time and how mastering things like schema design and formatting templates can turn all that raw computational power into ready-to-use business intelligence.
Yeah, because we really need to look at what this formatting nightmare looks like on the ground before we can actually solve it.
For sure. Because what if the AI tools meant to save you time are actually creating a massive invisible formatting nightmare? Like, to see what this friction looks like, all you have to do is look at the workflow data coming out of Nairobi right
Oh,
now.
totally.
You can go into, any real estate firm along Waiyaki Way or step into one of those fast-paced tech hubs over in Kilimani, and you will see the exact same scene playing out.
Every single day.
A highly capable analyst sits down, opens up a generative AI tool, and asks it to summarize local market trends. And the AI, doing what it does best, spits back this beautifully written, incredibly comprehensive, but utterly useless wall of text.
Which is where the hidden drain really begins. Because you have to look at the painful aftermath of that wall of text.
Yeah.
That analyst, who was supposed to save like half their morning by leveraging AI, now has to spend the next 2 hours manually untangling all that text.
Ugh, the worst.
They are literally copying and pasting paragraphs, extracting numbers sentence by sentence, and just dropping them into an Excel sheet just to make the data usable for a meeting.
Oh, wow.
And this isn't just a minor annoyance,
Yeah.
We're talking about hundreds of weekly hours evaporating across Kenya's fast-growing digital economy.
Which raises an incredibly frustrating question. I mean, if this technology is so advanced, why can't it just give us what we want the first time?
Right.
It's like, okay, it's like ordering a pizza and being handed raw flour, tomatoes, and ungrated cheese.
That's a great way to put it.
Like, sure, all the info is technically there, but it's completely useless for what I need right now. I don't want to bake it myself. If AI is so smart, why does it act like this?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the fundamental issue isn't the technology at all.
It's not.
No, it's a profound misunderstanding of the tool itself by the people commanding it. Decision makers and analysts are treating these AI models simply as conversational partners.
Like they're just chatting with a coworker on Slack or something.
Exactly. They're talking to them like they're chatty colleagues.
Mm.
But these models are, at their core, sophisticated pattern matchers designed for next token prediction.
Right.
So if you ask them a conversational question, the highest probability output is a conversational answer.
Okay, so by treating it like a chat interface, we are essentially inviting the AI to write us an essay.
Precisely.
But business isn't conducted in essays. I mean, it is conducted in spreadsheets, CRM databases, and structured reports.
Yeah, and if you are asking a conversational engine to do a database's job without giving it database-level instructions, you're going to inherit a mess.
That makes sense.
To unlock the actual efficiency of this technology, you really have to undergo a total paradigm shift. You must stop treating the AI as a conversational partner and start commanding it like a structured database engine.
So it's a completely different mindset.
Very much so. And that shift begins with a concept called schema design.
Okay, let's break that down because schema sounds like something an overworked database administrator complains about, not something a daily business analyst thinks about.
Fair point, yeah.
What does that actually look like in practice for our analyst sitting in that Kilimani office?
Simply put, establishing a schema means explicitly defining the architecture of your answer before the AI generates a single word.
So I have to know what I want before I ask for it.
Exactly. You don't just type, tell me about real estate in these 3 neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You have to construct the exact framework first. You look at your prompt and you tell the model, provide a table with exactly 3 columns, a state name, average rent, and growth rate.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to push back on this a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
Because if I have to spend 10 or 15 minutes carefully designing a perfect architectural framework, figuring out my columns and my keys and writing all of that into a prompt, haven't I just lost the time that AI was supposed to save me?
I hear that a lot.
I mean, I could have just built the Excel sheet myself in that time.
For a single one-off query, yeah, you might break even on time,
Yeah.
but business workflows are rarely one-offs. What about when you need to run that exact same prompt across 50 different neighborhood reports?
Oh, right.
Or run it every Monday morning with new data? When you define the schema, you are forcing the model to organize its raw computational power into a repeatable framework.
So it scales.
Yes.
Yeah.
You invest slightly more time on the front end engineering the prompt so that you spend absolutely zero time formatting the output on the back end. It is a complete inversion of how analysts currently spend their time.
Okay, I see the scale argument. You build the empty boxes once, and the AI fills them infinitely. But let's look at the reality of how these models behave. Let's say I give it the schema. I tell it to give me those 3 columns. In my experience, the AI will give me the 3 columns, but it will still wrap them in a conversational sandwich.
The dreaded sandwich.
Right. It will start with, certainly, here's the real estate data you requested, and then end with, let me know if you need any more help.
Right.
And if I'm trying to pipe this data directly into another software tool, that conversational fluff breaks the whole system.
It completely breaks the pipeline, which is why establishing a schema is really only the first piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
The second requirement is implementing hard boundary constraints, specifically through negative prompting. You have to remember that because these models are trained on human conversation, their default state is to be helpful and chatty.
So they want to please you.
Yeah, and you have to actively restrict that behavior.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Wait, so I have to be rude to the AI. I have to explicitly tell it to skip the pleasantries and conversational intros.
It's not about being rude, I promise. It's really just about efficiency. Imposing these hard boundaries is the secret to moving from basic prompting to advanced structured output engineering.
So you have to be relentless. Our source material mentions explicitly commanding the model with phrases like, do not exceed 15 rows, or output strictly invalid JSON format without any conversational intro.
Exactly. And that negative constraint without any conversational intro is just non-negotiable for enterprise workflows.
Actually, let's pause right there, because you just threw out valid JSON format.
Ah, yes. Let's translate that.
Yeah, let's translate that for the listener who isn't a software engineer. Why is a business analyst suddenly needing to ask for JSON?
Well, JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. But for a non-technical listener, you can just think of it as a standardized, lightweight format that different software programs use to talk to each other.
Okay.
It uses brackets and commas in a very specific way so that the computer can read the data without getting confused.
Right, because computers need strict rules.
Exactly. If your company uses a dashboard or a CRM, that software likely ingests data in JSON. If the AI outputs clean JSON, you can feed the data directly into your company's systems automatically.
Oh, wow.
But if the AI includes even one sentence of conversational text like, here's your data, the entire JSON structure becomes invalid and the software crashes.
That makes total sense. We are literally moving from a casual chat interface to a strict command line. We have to strip out the pleasantries because the AI doesn't have feelings, it's just math.
Just math.
We are trying to protect our structured data from being contaminated by unstructured text.
Yes, that's exactly it.
But even if I tell it to shut up and just give me the data and I give it the columns, what stops the AI from changing its mind halfway through?
What do you mean?
Like in row 1, it writes the data as October 5th, and in row 12, it suddenly switches to 1005. That inconsistency still forces me back into Excel to clean it up.
You are hitting on one of the most common frustrations in advanced prompting, which is what I call AI improv.
AI improv. I love that.
Yeah, the model just gets creative when you really don't want it to. And the mechanism to prevent this is to use formatting templates.
How does that work mechanically?
Well, remember that the model is predicting tokens, essentially guessing the next word based on probability.
Right.
When you give it a blank set of instructions, there is a massive probability space for how it might format the answer. To collapse that probability space, you provide a dummy example directly inside your prompt.
Oh, okay.
You literally show the AI a single line of your desired output structure. You show it row 1 with the exact date format, the exact currency symbol, and the exact spacing, and you command it. Follow this exact structure.
So instead of handing the AI a blank sheet of paper, you're handing it a highly specific fill-in-the-blank form,
Exactly.
where the first line is already filled out as an example.
Yes. When you provide that visual template in the prompt, you are mathematically restricting the model's token prediction. It is forced to anchor its behavior to your exact visual and structural specifications.
Because it's a pattern matcher.
Exactly. It mathematically cannot improvise because you have narrowed its probabilistic choices down to the pattern you provided.
That is fascinating. We are essentially using the model's own pattern matching nature against it to enforce rigid compliance.
That's a great way to summarize it.
And speaking of visual specifications, the sources highlight a very specific technical hack for delivering this data, which is leveraging Markdown.
Yes, this is huge.
Now, for you listening, Markdown is a syntax used to format text using asterisks for bolding or hashtags for headers. But why is demanding Markdown so critical for a team working in, say, a fast-paced agency? Why not just ask for a standard text table?
It comes down to transferability across a modern tech stack. If you just ask an AI for a table in plain text, it will try to draw it using spaces and vertical bar characters.
No, I've seen that.
Right. And the moment you copy that plain text and paste it into an email or a messaging app, the formatting completely shatters.
It's a disaster.
Column B bleeds into column C, the headers misalign, and it just looks like a mess.
We have all been there, like frantically hitting the spacebar trying to line up text in an email before the boss sees it.
Right, exactly. But Markdown is a universal structural syntax. By explicitly commanding the AI to format the output in a Markdown table, you are generating semantic code, not just visual spaces.
So the formatting is baked in.
Yes. When you copy a Markdown table and paste it into Notion, or Slack, or your internal project management software, those platforms instantly recognize the syntax.
Oh, wow.
The semantic structure holds its weight, the columns stay rigid, the headers stay bolded. You are entirely removing the friction of formatting from the human's plate.
That is incredible.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the AI does the heavy lifting of the analysis, and the Markdown ensures the delivery of that analysis is visually perfect the second it hits your clipboard.
Okay, I am completely sold on this for data tables. Give me the schema, give me the template, make it Markdown. But let's scale this up. What about massive, complex tasks? Not just a 3-column grid of neighborhood rents, but like a 30-page industry report? Because in my experience, if you ask an AI to write a 30-page document, it might start strong, but by page 5, the sports cart has violently swerved off the road.
That is very true.
The formatting degrades, it forgets the schema, and it goes right back to rambling.
And that is exactly what will happen because of context window limitations.
Yeah.
The model loses the thread of your initial instructions the longer it generates. This is why for complex workflows, you have to move to multi-step generation.
Okay, so we stop asking for the whole pizza at once.
Exactly. You break the generation process into deliberate, verifiable stages. You command the AI to first output only a highly detailed table of contents based on your strict schema. Then, generation stops.
Oh, it just pauses.
Yes. The human analyst steps in, reviews that structure, adjusts the headings, and verifies that the logical flow makes sense.
So you act as the editor before the draft is even written?
Yes. And only after verification do you move to the next step. You take that brief table of contents, feed it back to the model, and command it to generate section 1 and only section 1 under strict word count limits.
And then section 2.
Exactly. You are keeping the model's context window tightly focused on a single bounded task at a time.
This sounds like a total transformation of the daily grind. Let's actually look at the after picture here, because the contrast in productivity, once you combine these mechanics, schema design, negative boundaries, dummy templates, markdown, and multi-step generation, it's staggering.
It really is.
Let's look at how this changes specific Kenyan industries based on the sources.
Well, the shifts are profound when you eliminate that copy-paste bottleneck. Let's take real estate executives, for example.
Okay.
Instead of waiting 3 days for a team of analysts to compile and manually format neighborhood data, they can instantly generate clean, perfectly structured market profiles that pipe directly into their dashboards.
Wow. And the human resources sector. The workflows mentioned for HR professionals in the text are incredible.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine an HR manager in Nairobi dealing with a stack of 200 applications. Instead of reading each one and trying to build a comparison matrix manually, they can set a strict schema, feed the resumes through, and pull standardized candidate summaries with zero manual editing.
Zero editing.
They instantly get a beautifully aligned markdown table comparing applicant skills and local experience, ready to drop right into a Slack channel for the hiring committee.
Or look at the academic sector. Researchers can take mountains of dense, unstructured reading and command the AI to organize those citations into structured, clean literature matrices in mere seconds.
So what does this all mean? The sheer scale of time saved is hard to wrap your head around. Those 2 hours of painful Excel wrangling that our Kilimani analyst was suffering through at the beginning of our deep dive, reduced to 10 seconds of prompt engineering and 1 second of copying to a clipboard.
It's revolutionary. But this actually brings us to a massive practical hurdle.
Okay, what is it?
If the mechanics of this are so clear, and the return on investment is this game-changing, why isn't every single enterprise operating this way right now?
Right. If the cure to the formatting nightmare is just better instructions, why are businesses still bleeding hundreds of weekly hours to unstructured text?
Because building this kind of structural capability across an entire organization requires systematic training.
It's not intuitive.
Exactly. It cannot be left to individual trial and error. If you have one brilliant analyst who figures out markdown and negative prompting, but the rest of the department is still chatting with the AI like it's their best friend, the organizational bottleneck remains.
Yeah, the pipeline is still broken.
The data pipeline is still broken. Fixing this requires strategic, top-down upskilling, particularly for enterprises that want to stay competitive in a digital economy.
So you can't just buy the enterprise license for the AI tool, hand out the logins, and expect everyone to instantly know how to drive the sports car.
No, you actually have to teach them how to shift the gears.
And if you're listening to this, realizing that half your team is still trapped in that conversational chat interface, how do you actually fix that at scale? You can't just mandate a company-wide policy that says, use JSON and Markdown. You need actual fluency training.
Which is exactly why resources are starting to emerge to address this specific organizational gap. For teams looking to transition away from basic conversational prompting into advanced, structured output engineering, there are structured pathways available.
Like what?
Well, the source material specifically points to the Katie's AI Fluency course as a solution for this.
And what's crucial about that kind of training is that it isn't a computer science boot camp.
Right, not at all.
It's a practical, non-technical pathway designed for local corporate environments. You don't need a background in coding to learn how to design a schema or paste a dummy template into a prompt. It is about workflow fluency, not programming.
And beyond initial training, sustaining this efficiency requires having the right reference materials on hand.
Because people will forget.
Yes. When an analyst encounters a brand new formatting challenge, you don't want them reverting back to manual copy-pasting just because they got frustrated. They need strategic digital resources to help them engineer a new prompt solution.
And if you are looking to build that library for your team, the text points listeners directly to the Fikra bookstore. It operates as a hub for deep dive guides, books, and strategic digital resources to reinforce exactly these kinds of technical workflows.
That's a great resource.
For those of you taking notes and wanting to check out those resources for your own organizational upskilling, you can find them at payhip.com/the bookstore. That is payhip.com/the bookstore.
Having those resources ensures that the paradigm shift from chatty AI to structured database engine actually sticks within your company culture.
We have covered some seriously dense but incredibly valuable ground today. Let's crystallize exactly what we've learned so you can take this back to your desk.
Sounds good.
We started by identifying the invisible productivity drain, the beautiful, useless wall of text that traps analysts in hours of manual formatting.
We then explored the root cause, right? The trap of treating a probabilistic token generator like a conversational colleague. And we broke down the mechanics of the solution.
Right. First, establishing your schema. Defining the architectural columns and keys before you ever ask for the data.
Second, setting hard boundary constraints. Using negative prompting to ruthlessly eliminate conversational pleasantries so that your data, whether it's JSON or plain text, remains uncontaminated.
Third, deploying formatting templates. Giving the AI a one-line dummy example to mathematically restrict its probability space and completely eliminate AI improv.
Fourth, leveraging markdown syntax to ensure that your perfectly formatted tables transfer flawlessly across your entire software stack without losing their semantic structure.
And finally, handling massive complexity through multi-step generation, acting as the editor of the table of contents before you ever let the AI generate the full report. The ultimate goal here for you is to stop accepting the raw flour and uncrushed tomatoes. It's time to start commanding that incredible computational power to deliver clean, ready-to-use business intelligence instantly.
Which fundamentally alters the nature of everyday knowledge work. And this raises an important question, a provocative thought to end on, really.
Oh, let's hear it.
If we are now systematically training AI models to output perfect database structures instantly, if we are completely eradicating the need for humans to manually sort, clean, and format data, does the most valuable skill for tomorrow's business analysts simply become the ability to design the perfect empty box?
Wow, are we all just evolving into architects of empty boxes? That is a fascinating thought to leave on. As you head back into your workflows today, remember that sports car stuck in first gear. It is time to press the pedal properly. Stop chatting, start commanding, and start setting hard boundaries with your AI tools today. Catch you next time.